What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Brian Costa, and today I have a very special guest on today's program. As you know, on the show, I like to interview athletes from all different sports. I've interviewed some Bryant basketball athletes like Michael Green III and Adam Alita, who's going to be an incoming player here. I've also interviewed shot put thrower Curtis Roshla, who's throwing down at the University of Hartford. But today, I think this is actually my first interview with a baseball player, my favorite sport, frankly. And I'm so glad to finally get an interview in with a member of this baseball team, because frankly, at Bryant, they run the show over there. So without any further ado, let me welcome in, now graduating Bryant Pitcher, and he'll be now declaring for the MLB draft. Welcome to the show, Tyler Mattison. Tyler, how you doing today, my guy?
Good. Glad to be on here. It's good to be talking to a Bryant talk show. It's pretty cool. So, I'm pretty honored to be here.
Yeah, dude, I am so glad to have you on. I think you are my first. I'm pretty sure you're my first baseball guest, in terms of being a player. So it's really good to have you on. So before we kind of get started with anything, maybe tell the audience a little bit about yourself, like kind of, where you're from, kind of, just some little things like that.
Yeah. So I'm from a really small town in upstate New York called Fort Anne, New York. It's right next to Lake George. That's kind of how
Okay.
I describe it. Right, kind of how I describe to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm from a pretty small town. My graduating class I had 32 kids in my class, and it was a public school, so it was pretty small.
Dang.
So yeah, so it was kind of crazy. Whenever I tell people that, they're always like, "Oh, you must be private," but no, it was public. So, small town, just out in the woods, I guess. Just love the area. And Bryant really reminded me of home, so it was good fit.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually kind of funny. I haven't been to Lake George, I don't think, in maybe like 8 years or something. I went out there for like a wedding a long time ago. I
Okay.
remember, that was the first place that I saw a seasonal McDonald's that was only open for the summer, and I was like, I've never seen something like that before. That was hilarious in my mind. I
Yeah.
was like, this isn't open all year.
Yeah. No, there's some unique things up in Lake George that very very touristy in the summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have a lot of certain restaurants and different places and gift shops are only open in the summer. So you gotta get there if you want to get stuff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Lake George is a great place to live, or at least around that area. Kind of and especially having relating that to kind of Smithfield and Bryant kind of feel. I definitely can feel that kind of relation. I also I thought I went to a small school in comparison to you. I had my class, I think, was like maybe just under 100, or
Yeah.
or barely just under, or barely just over, and people are like, "Man, you went to a small school," but man, you got me beat. You got me beat,
Yeah.
especially for a
Yeah.
public school. So I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So, kind of before, kind of with that, kind of growing up in a smaller town, how did you guys kind of do in like baseball wise, like, like in terms of a school, like how did you first of all get into baseball, and then like at those upper levels, then like how were you guys able to put it like like a team on the field with only 32 people?
Yeah, so it was definitely interesting. It started off, obviously when we were really young, t-ball and then little league. But the guys I was with, our parents were really close. And I would say 95% of the kids there, their parents went to Fort Anne and their parents played there. So, we got all together and we just really, I mean, the kids I played, high school ball with, I played with for 12 years leading up to it. It was big at a young age. And yeah, it is interesting to see, when we feel the team, because it's so small numbers, but, everybody had to play. If you want to have a good team, you need a lot of guys to play. And my buddy and I, his name's Garrett Bailey. He's in the same grade as I am. We were both starters our 8th grade year on varsity. So
Dang.
it was a small school, obviously, enhanced that a little bit. But that year we were fortunate enough to be carried by our seniors, and we actually won a state championship. So it was pretty cool being our first year there. But as we grew up and as we got older, like the same guys we played with at a young age, we played with on varsity. So that was pretty cool, going up through the ranks with those guys. But yeah, it all started at a young age with our parents, getting us together and just having us play all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, just to be able to kind of gel like that is really cool. I also kind of had, some small town ties like that where, I like most of the guys I played baseball with, I'm still pretty good friends with this to this day.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, playing against the competition, were you kind of like a natural athlete, or did you kind of have to or did you really have to kind of grind to, or kind of to get to your talent?
I mean, I would say, obviously you got to have some talent already there. I was given, size and different things like that from my parents. But I mean, ever since a young age, I've always worked really hard. I've always been working on my dad, whether it's, I played soccer, basketball, and baseball in high school. And whether it was any of those sports, like, I was always working my butt off to try to be the best player I could be in those. And then baseball just kind of always stuck with me. But yeah, I mean, there's always some talent there, but a lot of it was just hard work and just, through the years, just working with my dad, working with my mom, like, at practice during the games. So it was, it's crazy to look back on and think, how many years, I have been playing baseball and, kind of where I started at and where I've gotten to. So it's pretty cool to see. But yeah, it's been a long grind, but it's been a fun grind.
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome, man. So, you also had mentioned, previously that, your parents and, different people like that kind of had gotten you together with some of your friends and kind of had built relationships that way. In terms of, maybe getting you to the level that you're at and kind of, helping you out through all those times, is there like a coach, like a, mentor? Is there someone like that maybe that you could attribute, like, some of your success to?
I mean, my dad's been the biggest. I mean, my parents have, but my dad's really been, he's always coached me since I was 4 years old, and he's always been right there every step of the way, which has been pretty cool. I got a lot of people in my corner. I can thank. I mean, there's been a ton of coaches that I've grown up with. My high school baseball coach, he coached my sister in softball, and for years, and he's going to be my high school baseball coach, and I've known him since I was 5 years old. We used to go on camping trips with him, with my family, and we had a bunch of friends. So like I've always had that that tight knit group of close people with coaches. But my dad's been the biggest guy there. He's always helped me out. Always just talking me through things. He's always making sure I work hard. Bringing me to the batting cage, getting extra swings in. Catching bullpens for me, and just all that throughout the years. And it's pretty cool to see that transition that I had with him. And frankly, anybody that's really helped me along the way has been pretty cool. And I've stayed in touch with a lot of those people, and they're always asking how I'm doing, what's going on. So, and actually this year is pretty cool. I had a bunch of my high school coaches come out to be able to watch a few of the games this year, so I was pretty happy about that. Pretty cool to see them, just supporting me through that. But yeah, it's been pretty cool, all the support I've had.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I know from, kind of my small town area, I had I think I had actually, like, from when it came to my JV coach, I had known him because, one, he was like my geometry teacher, and then he also and then he, he had a younger son who played basically with my brother, who I think my brother's going to be a senior in high school next year. So he kind of, and this kid's going to be a junior next year, but they always kind of played with each other. So I knew this guy like way beforehand. And then with my varsity coach, he was my gym teacher. So that was,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a theme, but I just always had I did have kind of those connections as well. And it's good to see that you had, so many, great connections that you were able to make.
Yeah. Definitely.
Through your kind of through your journey throughout the years and kind of getting to the level that you were at, when did you kind of realize that you were, probably good enough to, maybe make it on a D1 team and really compete there?
That's a good question. I mean, I would say probably the summer after my sophomore year in high school. I started, playing a couple showcases and just getting in front of scouts, I guess, for the first time, college scouts. And I started throwing the ball, harder and harder, and I was getting more looks, and I was, getting contacted by, Division I schools. So, at that point I was like, okay, it's pretty cool. It was, an honor to be, that was my goal in high school, is to, get a college scholarship somewhere and try to go play Division I baseball. And, that summer has really kind of opened my eyes, and just got, a lot of contacts from, other schools and everything. And it just kind of came really fast and all at once. So I didn't really know what was happening at the time, but, but looking back on it now, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, when I was an eighth grade freshman, like, and I always had aspirations, but I never thought I would get to this point. So that's pretty cool. And just looking back on it, it's, the journey's been crazy. It was, like I said, it came so fast, and, it was here and then it was gone, so was pretty cool. And, I wouldn't change a thing looking back on it now, because I think it's, a big part of who I am, and, and where I went to is who I am. So that's pretty cool looking back.
Yeah. I mean, you already had mentioned kind of, around you kind of brought up already that Bryant, kind of reminded you of a small town kind of feel, and kind of already kind of gave you some reasons of home. Were there any other things that kind of attracted you to the school rather? Were there any, were the coaching staff, was it, kind of just the feel of the campus other than, the small town feel? Were there any other kind of draws that really interested you in the school?
Yeah. I mean, Bryant, as Bryant has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
When I was, when I was visiting, and I was in high school, I didn't really understand it that much. My parents understood it more. With the academics program, that was, to be honest with you, that was, it was important to me, but it wasn't like the number one. I was looking to play baseball. And Bryant had a, great baseball program. They still do. At the time, it was Steve Owens was the head coach, and I heard a lot of great things about him. Just the person that he is and the coach that he is, and that really drew me to Bryant. But I really like the campus itself. It just how it's secluded. There's basically one way in, one way out. Just the feel I got from it, and the environment, and just walking around, like I was like, I could picture myself being here. I mean, there's obviously, two main academic buildings. You can add a third in there if you want. So it's not like, you're going across campus and, you're going to get lost as a freshman. Like, the facilities they had were phenomenal. And, I was fortunate enough when I was walking around, I got to meet President Makeley. And, he just was a great guy. Like, and I was like, this is the president of the university. I was like, he's an upstanding guy, like just super
Great
down to
guy.
earth. Yeah. It was awesome. Like he's, like I said, super down to earth. Like, I did not expect a university president to be like him at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, Makeley was the best, man. He kind of made my when it came to, looking at Bryant, he really made the experience for me. That was something that, he really had an impact on.
Yeah, and I can say the same thing for me. Like, I was like, I want to come here to be around a guy like that really cares. And Makeley was a huge sports guy. He really, so that was another enhancement too. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, Brian just gave me a feel, right when I stepped on campus, I was like, I definitely see myself here. And I was fortunate enough to be able to go play baseball there. And now looking at it, just graduated, have a great degree from Bryant. At the time I didn't realize how well known and Bryant was, especially in the Northeast. So that's another enhancement. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, Bryant reminded me a lot of home, and I love where I live, so it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, little Makeley story. I remember just, I think it was like the first football game my freshman year. Me and my friends, we all go, and Makeley is just like, just dripped out in all Bryant gear, and he has the belt on. He has these suspenders. I'm just like, what's up, President Makeley? And he's so like he's so friendly to everyone there on campus, and it was just great.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, he would, there's the little golf green up in left field in our baseball field. And he'd go out and hit golf ball sometimes, and if we were on the pen, he'd stop by, and he'd ask us how's it going, and he just BS with us for a little bit, and then he would we had a kid on the team that was actually a really good golfer, so he'd ask him for some tips. So it was pretty cool. Just having that relationship with the university president was really cool, and I'm grateful for every experience I had with him.
Yeah, I mean, I am so grateful for it too, especially since I talked with some athletes who they have had the opposite kind of a relationship with their president because of they've been threatening to cut funding to programs and stuff like that. But Makeley kind of has gone all in with. Literally before he left, he went all in with the program, did everything there. I did a couple of the Bryant baseball camps back when I was like really young, and it was actually funny because I did those camps back when I was like in 7th, 8th grade, and then I did another, I think like my sophomore year of high school. I just did them just for like development and like nothing like serious. But I remember I show up to campus, and when I had thought about schools to go to, I was just like, oh, Bryant's like there, but I had never thought about it as a school. But I'd seen all the facilities that they had. I saw the indoor facility in your guys' locker room. I actually had gone in there. You guys have it really good in there.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like that. I mean, that was like I said, talk about the facilities earlier. Like, it's just having that is just crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so nice. And Make was a huge supporter, and just Brian just keeps improving with all that stuff. So it's awesome to see.
Yeah, no, it was great to see. You kind of you brought up kind of just a little bit ago about Coach Owens, who had been at the school, and then during your time, Coach Owens had left. He had gone on, and since then, Coach Klosterman has come in. What was it kind of like being at college? Having to deal with kind of a coaching change, and how did you kind of react to that?
Yeah, it was actually crazy. Finding out it actually, the way we found out, it got leaked on Twitter. At least for me, I was in Cape Cod. I was in Hyannis. I was playing in the Cape League out there, and I was actually sitting with my roommate. His name was Jared DeSanto. He goes to FAU. And we're sitting in our host house, and I'm just like scrolling on Twitter, and I see this guy tweets out. This baseball guy, I forget his name.
Yeah.
And anyway, he tweets out and says, Steve Owens of Bryant Baseball will become the next Rutgers head coach. And I look at this and I'm like, this has to be fake. Like, none of us heard any wind of anything happening like this. And then I get an email, or I message in the group chat, and I put that in there, and everybody's freaking out. And then like somebody confirms it, and then we get an email from our athletic director and Coach Owens and saying that it's true. And we're like, what the heck? And we get on a conference call a couple days later, and it just blindsided us. So it was, in the beginning, it was crazy because I never thought that Coach Owens would leave. I never thought he would leave the program, but I mean, he got a great job offer at Rutgers. And I'm super happy for him. He's a great guy. He's a great coach. And then Coach Klosterman took the reins over. And I can't say enough about him. He's a great guy. Makes everybody enjoy the game of baseball, and he's a great coach. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He was played up in the AAA. Like, he's a dude. Like, he knows what he's talking about. So it was different. It was definitely different. Because my first 2 years, I get used to a certain environment and a certain culture that Coach Owens wanted and created. And then Coach Klosterman comes in and doesn't want to step on anybody's toes, which I respected completely. Didn't want to come in and change the culture completely, but also at the same time, you need to instill what your coaching philosophy is into the team. So that was a little bit, that fall was a little difficult just because we didn't know how to act. We didn't know, exactly what to do. But, as time moved forward and, as the things got, less and less crazy, we started to really bond as a team and really get to know Coach. And, I had a great 2 years with Coach Klosterman and great 2 years with Coach Owens. And, I'm one of those guys that was fortunate enough to go to a program and to be coached by two different guys and really get two different feels. And because there were two different coaches when it came to, just about everything. So that was pretty cool. So I can look back and say that, I had this and I had that. So it's, I'm fortunate enough there. And I think it's, a big reason why, I had the success and I had the failure of where I am, and, being able to deal with both. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that you're able to look back and kind of see some of the good things going on, that happened during your time at Bryant. Is there like a favorite memory of yours as a Bryant Bulldog that you can think of?
There's a lot of them.
You can name a couple if you want.
Yeah. I mean, we never, the one thing that stinks is we never won an NEC championship in the postseason. So we never got to a regional. That sucked. But I mean, I had a great 4 years. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just going out there every week, just with the guys, it was so much fun. Especially this year with, obviously, with the season last year getting pulled out from under us with COVID. This year, I just made an emphasis to go out and have fun, and we did that. I mean, we really had a blast this year. And it was a lot of fun. And I mean, I made a ton of memories this year, especially just going out and just pitching and, trying to strike out as many guys as I can, try to go as deep into the games as I can. And then, hand the ball off to the next guy and just seeing our offense go to work. It was pretty cool, I would say. My one start, I was able to, I broke the Bryant record for strikeouts, but I don't care about that. I don't care about that. It was pretty cool that both my high school soccer coaches were out there at the time. And it was just cool because, they've been a big part of my life, and it was cool to have them out there to watch that. so that was cool because they always want to get out to a game, and things have come up, and they're supposed to come out last year with COVID, but anyway, it was cool to have them out there, and just I would say another great memory is Tyler Shaw. He's dealt with a lot this year, put it that way, family wise, and his last start against Central Connecticut, he went 8 innings and no runs, 10 strikeouts. And him and I are really close, and just to see him do that with what he's had to go through was a testament to the kid he is, and to how strong-willed he is. And that was really cool. Everybody shed a tear. After he came off the mound, he had to deal with a lot of adversity this year. To see that for him was really cool, and just made everybody closer. So that was a lot of fun. But I got so many memories at Bryant that I can name here, and we can sit here for hours just talking about it. It's really cool. Endless list.
I'm only halfway through. I'm only halfway through, and I could do the same.
Yeah, that's what it should be. And just talking about like this, like it sounds like we both made the right decision. I know I did. It sounds like you did too, going to Bryant. So
yeah, no, I'm thrilled that I went there, and it really helped me out a ton. Kind of trying to think how, I was going to say, I did actually go to one of your starts. I think it was against Wagner, I believe, like at the very beginning of the year. Like, I think maybe like beginning of,
that was a cold one.
Yeah. I made the mistake of, I originally, wasn't going to be at the game, but then, like the director of the sports thing, Kelsey, she ended up like reaching out to me and said, "Hey, Brian, we need a camera guy." And I was like, I don't do cameras, but I was like, sure. And like, I judged like the weather based on like if I was walking to Salma from my building, like would I be fine?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, sure. Like, so I walked over there in like khaki shorts and a sweatshirt, and I was freezing my ass off, and it was awful.
Oh yeah.
The wind was just going so bad, and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh,
it was terrible.
That's
I mean,
especially at County. No, go ahead, my bad.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
No, I was saying that County just had that wind stream. We call it the jet stream, County jet stream, and it just blows out to right, and it's miserable. When it's cold out, it's so frigid, and I can never bring enough layers. I can never bundle up enough, just because you're sitting there and it's just like, oh my. I mean, when I'm pitching, I'm fine, but when you get in the dugout or you're like sitting in the stands, it's like it's chilling. Yeah, it gets bitter.
Yeah, no, I literally couldn't. I actually, at one point during the game, when I came in, I couldn't open my fingers because I was so cold. I couldn't open my fingers, and my legs, I literally felt like I couldn't walk, and I couldn't get back to my dorm soon enough, frankly.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the best feeling that we have is, when we go back and we're able to shower and just turn the showers on, and I just sit there and defrost for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then actually take a shower. So
yeah, makes sense. Yeah, no, that was a cold ass day. My God, that was awful. But trying to think. You also mentioned the jet stream. That reminded me of a story from when I kind of it was my senior year going into Bryant, and it was like during the accepted students day. We went over to I think one of your games, and I actually grew up the town over from Ryan Ward.
Okay.
Like literally, I'm literally like 10 minutes over from him. So like I knew him kind of like not personally, but I actually went to a Bryant camp, and like I mentioned I was from Sutton, and he goes, "Oh, no way." And like we were talking about people we knew, and it was actually kind of funny.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was actually kind of like a funny little connection that I had with him there. But I remember I showed up to the game, and like at one point he had like this hilarious Texas League double that he got. I think it was against Fairleigh Dickinson. But then yeah, I think it was against them. But then he ends up coming up to the plate one time, and I swear to God, he nailed this thing like halfway into the softball field. I was like, oh my God.
I know. I know exactly what you're talking about. That was FDU. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, he smoked that ball. But yeah, it's that thing with lefties. It's like just get the ball in the air to right, and it's probably gonna go out. So
yeah. They're seeing a lot of that now with Polar Park in Worcester, because I don't know if you heard that about like the Pawtucket Red Sox, like the AAA team of the Red Sox, they ended up moving over to Worcester, which is now like only 10 minutes from me. And man, like when you get the ball in the air there, that thing just goes. It just
flies. Yeah.
No, it's like you mentioned a jet stream. It reminded me exactly of that.
Yeah, I don't like to hear that as being a pitcher, but
yeah, I can understand that.
You know what I mean? But yeah, it's always that's honestly one of the first things I look at when I show up to a park is like, I look at the flag, see if they're hauling out, or I'm always praying that it's blowing in, but it seems like it's never blowing in.
Yeah.
I had a few games this year where it was blowing in, and like, you let up a couple fly balls, and you're like, and you're like, oh no, but wind's blowing in. It's like it's like a infield pop up. It's crazy, but yeah, I did hear about the Sox moving, but I didn't realize the ball was flying out like that.
Oh yeah, no. The thing is, the place. I mean, they put a monster in right field, but it doesn't stop because I know one of the Sox top prospects, Jaron Duran, he absolutely just launched a ball to center field. The thing was easily like I think someone was saying it was like 475 feet. Like it was a bomb to right field.
Yeah, that's a bomb.
He hit it out of the stadium.
Wow. Yeah, that's a bomb.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It was crazy, dude. But one of the things I saw kind of, when I was kind of looking you up before we did this interview was I was kind of just looking at some of your stats to see kind of how you've grown throughout your time at Bryant. And I noticed that your stats, dramatically, improved going into your senior year. Cause I mean, freshman year and sophomore year, you were solid. You had an ERA in like the 3.4s. Junior year, it's really not even fair to count that because you only played in 4 games. So it's like, it's like not even like a legit thing to even look at. But, going into your senior year, compared to your freshman and sophomore year, your ERA dropped by a full run.
Yep.
Like it went from a 3.4 to a 2.46. So I'm just like, how did you do it? Like, what was the big improvement that you made going into your senior year?
Yeah. I mean, I'm more mature now. I've been around the circuit for, my 4th year. That's a big part. It's just, and then in confidence, I've always been a confident person, but, my freshman and sophomore year, like, I guess I wasn't as confident as I am now. Which I think is right. I mean, it comes with age and maturity. But I mean, yeah, obviously last year, I had I think it was like a 8.5 ERA, which is an ugly number to be looking at there.
But again, you only played in 4 games, and it was
right.
and it was a COVID year, so it's like whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, so no doubt. But just the fact of sitting on it for about a year, just not being able to go out and play, just was like, it's ugly looking at. So, the summer everything. I don't know. To be honest with you, I just really made baseball more about just having fun this year, and not stressing about anything. Not stressing about stats, not stressing about how well I do, on like a statistical basis. Just going out there and having fun and just competing. And I did that the whole year. There's a few games I got roughed up a little bit, but for the most part, I felt like I was in control and was dominating the opposing lineup. I mean that in the most humble way possible. Just going out there and just having fun and just attacking guys. That was my whole mindset. And, I think it really paid off. Obviously, you look back on the stats, it's by far my best year I've had. But yeah, I just made an emphasis of having fun. As it might sound stupid or it might sound silly. Like, it's just the fact of the matter. I just went out there. I couldn't wait to get the ball again. I pitched on Friday. You got to wait a whole week. Like, couldn't wait to get that ball again. So, just that driving force and that driving factor, I think really paid dividends, and was a big part of why I had a lot of success this year.
Mm-hmm. Before we ask you, about some of the other things going on, kind of at Bryant, like maybe some of the big obstacles that you had to overcome. I know that at Bryant, very, for a small school, we've been able to produce a lot of talent coming out of this area. I don't know if you were in your freshman year if Karinchak was still at the school by any chance.
He got drafted that spring, and I was on campus that fall.
Okay, yeah. So you were on campus that fall. But you also got to play with guys like Ryan Ward, many other guys that, have now made it, into at least, the minor leagues, or even, think of Karinchak, obviously you weren't there for it, but even into the major leagues, what was it how has it kind of been for you kind of through your development, kind of being able to look at guys that have had the success? How did that help you?
Yeah, it helped me out tremendously. Karinchak's a huge guy that I look up to, obviously being a pitcher. You had Ryan Ward, Jimmy Titus, both, great players. I mean, Chris Wright is a pitcher now too, but, those 3 hit and, hit in college. So I wasn't around them, like at practice all the time. But, with Karinchak, I'm always, I talk to him a lot.
Yeah.
I'm in contact with him a lot, just picking his brain about pitching and different things. So yeah, no, those guys helped me out a lot, just because with what they've had to go through with, everything, the draft, minor league baseball, like I'm always asking them, how is it? How do you like it? How do you deal with it? How do you deal with the 10-hour bus trips? You get in at 4 a.m. Then you got a game at 6. How is that on yourself? So and every one of them says I love it. It's it's been their dream forever. They just love doing it. They just love playing baseball. So that's I'm really excited, looking forward to it. But yeah, looking at those guys that have been drafted and have had success and getting to the minor leagues is more motivational than anything. To be, I want to continue that stepping stone and that stepping tool for younger guys at Bryant, and then future incoming guys to look up to guys like look like them, and then hopefully me, and then hopefully more kids to come, getting drafted and getting to the minors, because Bryant that was a big draw for me at Bryant, is looking at the guys that they've had, and a lot of them have been pitchers, so that was pretty cool to see, and a lot of them were pitchers with my build, right-handers that threw hard, and were 6'3", 6'4", athletic. So that was pretty cool to see. And hopefully I can be another one off the board for him. But yeah, a lot of that's been just motivation, just being able to pick their brain with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up Karinchak. I mean, I did a article on him my freshman year, and I originally was going to be very topical. I was just going to talk about him making the thing and talk about his stats. But then I just DM'd him on Instagram, and he just goes, "What's up, man?" I was like, "Oh, sick."
Yeah.
I had actually asked him about coming on the show, but I know but he had said he would. But right now, the grind of an MLB season is picking up right now, and I'm like, fair enough.
Yeah. No, he's a great dude. He's a great dude, and he's always, that's him. You know what I mean? That's him. He's always gonna respond to stuff, and he's just a really down to earth kid, and it's a really good guy to be in contact with.
Yeah, I can see that already, and I hope to get him on. I hope to get him on soon. Now, I kind of had previewed this before we asked the previous question, but in terms of were there any big obstacles that you kind of had to overcome during your career? Were there people that doubted you a lot? Was there a significant injury that you had to kind of battle back from, and was there really anything that you kind of had to really fight for? And I didn't word that the right way. Maybe
no,
I was trying to say what were some of the motivating things that you kind of had to take in?
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, first off, knock on wood, I've never had a major injury. So that's been I've been able to avoid that, which has been good. Like I said, I'm knock on wood again, but yeah, I mean, the difference I saw going into high school and college for me was just the competition level. When I was in high school and I was, sophomore, junior, senior, I knew I had a spot. I knew I was going to be, the best pitcher. So don't get me wrong, I still worked hard, but there wasn't any doubt that I would be, the guy on the mound with the ball in my hand in the big situation. But when I got to Bryant, everybody that got recruited there, they were the best player on their team in high school. So everybody's good. So it's just more competition, and just drives you more. And you gotta perform at a higher level, and you gotta keep having success. And the one thing I will say at Bryant my freshman year is, every year, to be honest, is I had ups and I had downs. And in high school, I didn't really have to deal with, like I said, I mean this is the most humble way possible. I didn't really have to deal with a lot of losing. The three sports we played, we dominated. My last 3 years, we just absolutely dominated the league and in the playoffs and stuff. So I didn't really have to deal with a lot of losing and a lot of downs in my career throughout high school. But when I got to Bryant, my first couple of games I started in, or pitching, it was Arizona and Auburn, and I got hit around a little bit, and I was like, man, this sucks. I'm not used to this. So it's just opened my eyes to be no, yeah, you might have thought you're good, but you got to keep working hard, because you're not even close to what you need to be to have success here. So
I mean, at the same time, it's Arizona and Auburn, so don't be too hard on yourself.
Right? No, exactly. But it was crazy, going down there in Arizona. There's probably 6,000 fans, and I was like, wow. And then we go to Auburn, and it's 8,000 people on Saturday, and I was like, holy cow. It was really cool. It's an unbelievable experience. But I didn't have success at either of those places, and it was just man, this sucks. I'm not, like I said, I'm not used to this. I'm used to, winning, and it just sucked losing, not playing well. So that's the biggest obstacle I've had to deal with at Bryant, is just, understanding you're going to have ups and downs, and you can either run from failure, or you can learn from it. And that was the biggest thing, is mentally just trying to be able to learn from it. And, as I got older and I started, I got more mature, like I started to understand, like, learning from failure is honestly bigger than winning at sometimes,
Yeah.
So that's something I'm gonna take with me. But yeah, the biggest obstacle I had was just the struggles I had, and just learning from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, man. That is actually a really good thing to have, that, just as a lesson, and just be able to, have that drive. I've talked to a lot of D1 athletes about this, and then, another big obstacle I've seen that a lot of athletes had to overcome was COVID, and how that kind of affected them as well. How did I talked to Michael Green the third, and how Bryant basketball had to handle it. How did Bryant baseball kind of handle it? Because you guys were actually in the middle of your season, or at least at the start of your season, when it all went down. Was it kind of a similar kind of message to when Steve Owens ended up leaving? Was it kind of that much of a shock when you guys found out your season was going to go? Like, how did you guys find out about that?
Yeah, it was crazy. We were on our way. We were actually on our way to practice, and we I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna change rooms real quick.
Oh, you're good.
But yeah, I mean, we were on our way to practice, and we were in North Carolina, and we saw on Twitter that our NEC commissioner put out there that all spring sports have been canceled, and we're like, what the heck? And so coach addressed us, and it was just like,
oh, Tyler, I lost you there for a sec. So I lost you there for a sec, Tyler. What'd you say?
Sorry.
About the coach?
I said that, he just said that, sorry boys, like, the season's over. And we're like, what the heck? Like, how is this possible? And we didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do, because we saw, the day before, we saw the NBA shut down, and we're like, this isn't good. And we're like, we didn't, like, obviously, nobody knew what COVID was.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Nobody knew what really COVID had to entail. So it was just so mentally frustrating, because, we didn't know, and we were starting, we won our last two games, and, we were starting to have really, like, buy into the system, and then it gets pulled off from underneath us, and we had no idea, like, the senior sitting in the back of the bus, like,
been having a bit of audio difficulties here. Our apologies. All right, so while Tyler's just trying to get that fixed, we'll figure that out real quick.
I went to guys for my life. Like, I don't know whether, play with these guys again. So that was really just the unknown. Like, nobody knew. And that was, like, can you hear me?
Yeah, I kind of just lost you there for a sec. I think your Wi-Fi just kind of cut out for a little bit there. All right, sorry about that, guys. Really, really quick. We were just having some audio difficulties trying to figure that out, but it seems that we're all good now. Tyler was just talking about kind of the struggles of the season being canceled and everything that had to deal with. Kind of going off that, when you came back to school, how did you guys kind of have to, what were kind of some of the changes that you guys had to make, as a team?
Yeah, it was, social distancing, wearing masks at all time. Whether it was at practice, in the weight room, and in the fall, it was crazy because, we couldn't really have full team practices. We had like phases we had to be in. So it was really small groups.
Yeah.
So that was weird. We didn't get to use our locker room at all. So that's yeah, exactly. That's the part where, like, honestly, like, we really bond as a team. So like that was the most frustrating part. But you know, just the groups, and just not being able to be together fully was kind of and you know, we were able to have full team practice at the end for like the last week, but then you know, there's that big party that you know got like
Oh yeah, there's that big party on campus that Tyler's going to bring up that basically shut down the entire school year and kind of screwed us over there. Wait for him to get back. All right, sorry again, guys. Just some audio technical difficulties on our end. We were trying to figure that out. We seem to be all good now, but we were just wrapping up our discussion about COVID and everything that happened there. Kind of going into the latter portion of the show, I did want to ask you, you know, kind of going forward. You know, you're going to be, you know, going into the MLB draft as we talked about previously.
Yeah. So that's something I'm looking forward to. You know, got my eyes on. So see. Hopefully, it all works out.
Yeah. You know, I'm hopeful that it will. Dan, I think that I was seeing on one report that I think you know, earlier on in the season you were at least in like the top 150. So like you were like in there and you were really making a name for yourself. After the season you had, I would assume that had to have moved you up. But either way, you had a great season, and I think that you know, you should get the recognition you deserve. You know, going forward, what are some goals that you kind of have for yourself, maybe on and off the field?
Yeah, just you know, off the field, just to you know, obviously get into the real world now. Just you know, having a great life, having a happy life. You know, being able to do you know what I enjoy. You know, right now that's baseball. So you know, moving into on the field stuff is just being the best pitcher I can be. And just having as much fun as I can. You know, hopefully, you know, I get the opportunity to go play professional baseball, and you know, hopefully I can you know keep going through the farm system, and you know, eventually one day, you know, being like Karen said, and making to the bigs. So that's you know that's a goal I've always had since I was young, and you know that's a goal I'm you know really honing in on right now, and you know it's exciting. You know, I'm really looking forward to it. But you know I'm just excited to get the opportunity.
Yeah. You know, I was kind of, before we do get into the last question that I kind of had for you today, I was kind of thinking about it, and you know, was just trying to maybe get a guy's perspective on it. I had another guy on the show previously. He's kind of a baseball analyst over on TikTok. I had talked with him about some stuff. But you know, I've been reading up on the story about in major leagues about the whole like sticky stuff thing, and you know, stuff going on with pitchers. As a pitcher, I'm just trying to see I'm just trying to see what is your opinion on the whole situation going down right now?
I mean, I personally I've never used stuff like that. I like threw with it one time on like a side session, and like I just didn't. It was just weird. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's tough because like it's been around forever.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, stopping it now is kind of tough. But yeah, it's crazy to see how it's all unfolding. You know, with how you know some guys are getting called out for it and some guys aren't, and
Yeah.
just you know some of the hitters are calling guys out, and then some are like, no, I want them to use it. So it's gonna be crazy how it unfolds and see what you know MLB you know has their final ruling. But to be honest, I don't know if they're ever gonna be able to truly stop it because guys are gonna find ways around it. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
there's always going to be something there. But it just depends on like you know how well you can hide it, I guess. So it's going to be. And
Yeah.
I was watching the Yankees game. I was watching the Yankees game last night, and you know the commentators were just like they're watching. You know, they're like, oh, let's look at the pitcher, see if you know we can see any if he's telling any of his signs right now. You know, if he's using stuff. So you know that's something that's going to be you know people are going to be looking for. I would imagine coming up you know for the next you know long while. So that'd be interesting to see. But yeah, it's going to be pretty funny to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, it's been pretty interesting over here. When I was talking to that guy, he had been talking about this kind of like thing since like, you know, like March and April, like way before it kind of got to the point that it's at now. So it was interesting for me to talk to him about it because he was trying to point out that like on some people's ends, like it's like there's the idea that it's like used for, you know, an advanced grip and it's try to, you know, have more control on the ball. But then I was talking to this guy and he was saying like he doesn't know if that correlates because you know hit by pitches across the MLB are up and just different things that wouldn't really point to that are up across the MLB. But then you look at the advanced no hitters. There's so many different aspects to it, and it's just really crazy right now, frankly.
Yeah,
So
it's really hard to digest it. You know, like like you said, like one aspect's up, but then the other aspect is like it's contradicting it, you know. So it's like,
Yeah.
Does it really help, or is it really that enhancing, or is it really enhancing? Because you said all the no hitters are up, and you know the strikeout numbers are up, and it's just like it's crazy, you know. Just don't know how to tell.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy to see how that all unfolds. I'm gonna probably get that guy back on and talk some more stuff with that, because you know when I was talking about it with him, it was starting to kind of emerge, and you were seeing like some videos on it, but now it's completely become like the national like story, you know, across MLB now. So I will be interested to see if I can get him back on and talk some stuff with that because that was a really interesting conversation I had with him. But you know, kind of before we do wrap up, you know, obviously baseball and whatever it is, you know, unfortunately doesn't last forever. And, you know, one day eventually you will have to, you know, hang up the spikes and call it a day. When that day does come, you know, hopefully, you know, a long time from now, but when that day does come, what in your mind would be, you know, your dream, you know, of possibly doing once you're done? Like, could be a dream job, some other aspirations. What is something that you want to do and pursue once baseball is no longer, you know, the forefront of playing? Like when playing is no longer the forefront of your life.
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's a set dream job I've had. You know, playing baseball has been my dream. You know, but I mean, I guess you know, once it's all done, and you know, hopefully, you know, I make it and everything. You know, I can, you know, settle down, have a family. You know, be around my family. You know, get to enjoy the time with them. You know, be able to go hunting, fishing, you know, all that stuff. Just enjoy the outdoors, and just like I said, just be around my family, and you know, get to spend as much time as I can with everybody, just because you know that's important to me. That's a big part of my life. So you know, that would be successful, and that would be, you know, the most cherished thing I could say for myself when, you know, when that day comes and I do have to hang the cleats up.
Yeah. I mean, I again, I hope that's a long time from now. I mean, what did you graduate from Bryant with? What was your degree in?
I was a marketing major with a
Okay, yeah.
communication degree.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm a comm major. So like, listen, you're gonna be
Okay, yeah.
just fine. Like you're gonna be in a good place, regardless of how baseball goes. You're gonna be in a great
Yeah.
place.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Like I said, you know, I was very fortunate to graduate from Bryant. You know, great program. You know, great reputation. So you know, honored to have a degree from there.
yeah, and I mean, I guess before we go, you know, kind of, you know, looking back on Bryant, I mean, is there anything you maybe want to say to the Bryant faithful before the end of the show?
Yeah, no, I just enjoy your time. You know, it seems like just yesterday I was just a freshman getting on campus, but you know, it goes by quick, but enjoy it. It's, you know, best 4 years of my life. You know, and for any incoming people, you know, Bryant's a great choice. You're never gonna regret it. You know, you're gonna have a lot of fun. You're gonna meet a lot of people. You're gonna have a lot of connections. You know, I made friends that are gonna last for my entire life. You know, baseball team and other people as well on campus that I met. So, you know, Bryant's a great choice. You're not going to go wrong, and you know, and for everybody at Bryant, just enjoy your time. You know, I can't. You know, I'll be back hopefully. You know, alumni to see people and everything, but yeah, it won't be the same. But yeah, just like I said, just keep enjoying your time, and you know, enjoy it there.
I would mirror that exact same message. Tyler, thank you so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So again, if you guys are not falling down to the wire at this point, what are you guys doing? I mean, I've said it many times at this point. You know, Down to the Wire is now available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, but the main hub to access us through is our Instagram. You can follow that at down.to-the-wire. Again, at down.to-the-wire. Tyler, you want to shout out any personal social medias?
I just my Twitter is at tmat34 if you want to give it a follow. But yeah, like I said, like you guys should definitely follow this podcast. It's really cool. You know, I've listened to a few of them. You know, great questions, just a great conversation piece. You know, and you know, I'm really interested to see who you guys keep getting on here. You know, and keep listening to them.
Yeah, Tyler, I'm so glad to have you on, man. I hope to have you on back again someday. But you know, from Down to the Wire, I'm Brian Costa.
I'm Tyler Mattison.
And we hope you guys have a great day. Take care, everyone.